For the Irelia, they do. Locking it in, no question. This still leaves open the Viego, which I still believe absolutely phenomenal champion. Hasn't seemed like overwhelmingly strong in today's series, with more focus being put on the solo laners, but still definitely the option here you expect to see Beishang go for. They could also put that Viego into a solo lane, by the way, if they want to deny away the Irelia and Diana combo. This is the benefit of being over on red side for Team WE. They get to take 2 champions in this first rotation, and really we do have to see where they end up going.
See what they want to do. They end up going with the Ashe. They're trying to go, again, with those facilitating bot side. It was banned against them in Game 3, but that does mean with, all right, don't fix what's not broken. Run it back. Give me the same composition. This time around, they're going to maybe try and change around some of their champions. We obviously did listen to iBoy in the interview just before the game. Got a champion Ocean. Going to be able to play pretty much anything.
Yeah, showing us a little bit of that right now. The Ashe is also something that Elk has gone towards a little bit more recently here with that long-range engage tool. And, you know, Ashe can be very easily dived upon by something like an Irelia or a Diana, but her ultimate going to be very effective there too. iBoy continues to go for this Varus, so Rare Adam just get to basically run back what they just had on the red side here, and it's up to Team WE to find better answers into it. Again, last game it was the Ezreal for Elk, so maybe a little bit better at peeling himself, but less strong at getting information over the map, and I think that's something that can be really influential with Leyan being so all over the map in game number 3. Having the Hawk shot can reveal him and be very big in terms of information. The Akali, too, is really spicy.
Yeah, honestly, this is a great flex for the side of Team WE as well. They're one of the few teams that have flexed the Akali into top and into mid, so you still don't know exactly where any of those pieces are going. And for Team WE, they can also start to look and say, look, we can ban away some of these very aggressive laning champions. The Lucian, hell, I wouldn't even be surprised to see maybe a Jace banned away as well, just to make sure they're 100% getting the right matchup for their top laner and their mid laner.
This is an interesting one. The Lucian taken off, of course, like we were saying. And, well, for Team WE, you can expect, I mean, I would probably expect to see this Akali follow the Irelia wherever it ends up going, more than likely looking at mid lane options for them and banning away these ranged top laners from Cube. An interesting take for Team WE. Maybe they think if the ranged champions can find their way into the Akali matchup, that can be pretty challenging for her to make it through if they choose wrong on the lane that Akali does end up slotting into. But I mean, now Rare Adam have to look at bot lane champions too with the Tom Kench ban. Maybe a Braum ban could be strong. There it is. And those are the 2 champions that you really like to see next to an Ashe. Now you're looking at, well, do you want to go heavy on the engage with Leona? Or do you want to take, I was actually going to say Leona and Thresh were the 2 ones I wanted to look at. Leona would be the, well, we go like all in off of the arrow and have a lot of this hard engage. Rell fits a very similar bill. Thresh could have been a more passive look at it, but I think when you have a Viego and an Akali on your team, you want more champions that can go in right alongside you, and that's exactly what the Rell's going to give you.
Yeah, good engage, good way to start off fights, and of course a little bit of safety for that Ashe as well. A lot of ways of starting the fights for the side of Team WE, and alright, they're looking to do the same thing. I'm looking at poke comps, and honestly, both sides just want to run at each other, constantly be in each other's faces on those priority targets. You're looking at the Akali trying to jump onto the Varus, maybe even the Rakan. Of course, on the other side, the Irelia Diana, we saw it in the last game, getting on top of those solo laners or even the AD carry is going to be huge. Now Rare Adam, they're looking to see what they want to go for their solo lane. Honestly, I think the Lee Sin is fine to go here because, again, you know that it's going to be pretty damn safe regardless of the matchup it goes into.
Yeah, pretty safe counter pick. This time, even you have like the Jace and Lucian banned away, so like range top laners that can just farm plates against you and get the shove are not going to be there. Breathe has a whole lot of strong counter picks in his back pocket, and we'll have to wait and see what he goes for, because I feel like this is a game where you're just going full agency on the top side of the map. Show your best foot, get the strongest matchup you possibly can here up against the Lee Sin, and at the end of the day, that is going to be the Camille. So something that can both deal with the Lee Sin decently, hard to get lane control against the Lee Sin and his ability to clear that away with his E, but you also have to look later on into the game in terms of side lane threat. The Camille can be an answer into FoFo's Irelia as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Camille versus Lee Sin matchup is always a very interesting one. People like the Lee Sin into it because you have got the Dragon's Rage kick to knock you out or knock the Camille out of the Hex Deck ultimatum. But it's kind of that old school Kayle versus Zed build where they won't use their ultimate until the Zed ults. It's like you just have to bait it out. If they don't use it, then it's like, cool, you're dead anyway. It doesn't matter if you use it or not. So there's a match date with EDG. RA looking to send us to Silver Scrapes with a game 5. And it all comes down to this game here. Right now, WE, they got to be feeling a little bit disoriented, a little bit discouraged. And RA got to be feeling a little bit better, but the momentum not going to be that big of a deal, I feel, considering how the first 2 games went.
Look, I got nervous for a second. I saw an Ashe just straight up solo kill a Callisto at level 1 in LCK last night, and that was maybe the grossest thing I've ever seen. So as soon as the W lands, I'm holding my breath. But iBoy is able to walk out of that one, and I mean, in all honesty, like we've got Breathe rocking the Ignite on the Camille, ready to throw down on the top side of the map, the Grasp as well, for the strong early laning presence too, making sure you can trade nicely into the Lee Sin. And I mean, one of the big things that I briefly mentioned in draft, but I want to touch on again here is how influential Leyan was over the early game for Rare Adam in game number 3. And I think the Hawk Shot is going to be really effective at pinpointing where he is on the map and allowing the solo lanes to play smartly around that.
Yeah, and actually something I saw on the runes just very, very briefly. I actually quite like it. It's very, very small, but Breathe took the Shield Bash rune. So again, you're not getting as much protection on the Lee Sin or even necessarily on the Diana or the Rakan later on in the game when they're going to be fighting in 5v5s. So little small things like that to kind of notice if, like, you know, shields won't be doing as much damage as we wait to see now how this mid lane matchup does go. FoFo, gotta be a little bit more careful. I feel like the Akali has a little bit more in the back pocket to deal with this Irelia, specifically on level 1. And actually, Shanks, something you'll even see there, the double ignites here on top side. No flashes here for Breathe or for Shanks.
Yeah, importantly, like, Shanks can, on the Akali, hit the Irelia, but without, like, fully committing in with the Q, has that slight range advantage. Really has to be a little bit more committal in terms of the Flawless Duet and actually jumping on forward. And on top of that, Flawless Duet, when you have a little dash away there on the Akali, can be a little bit easier to juke from than perhaps Shanks was able to accomplish on the Syndra last game, which I don't think he juked any Flawless Duets, and even if he did, he still got one shot.
He did right at the start.
Right, he did.
Right at
the
the
first
start.
game, yes. And then it was.
I will give my boy his dues. As we see now, FoFo. He didn't land the Flawless Duet, so that's actually a little bit of a move. And right now, we actually see that Shanks has dodged the early Flawless Duet again.
Honestly, FoFo was just trying to deny minions from Shanks. Like, maybe if he lands the E, he goes in, but I'm also wondering, like, did he even want to land E? Because he never took turret aggro. He was just, like, walking up there, full chillin' up against Shanks. It was a cannon minion that I think he was trying to deny away from Shanks, but Shanks still ended up getting it in the end. So, not the biggest win in the world for him, but I kind of like the idea when you're going for this early reset after the third wave.
Yeah, honestly, it's just a little bit of pressure. Of course, Shanks looked as if he was kind of like, okay, I don't really have anything to deal with this, so I'm just going to back myself away, get myself back towards my turret. As we do see Elk being jumped on, the attack repel has been used as the heal, as the ignite to go down. iBoy, though, might be in a little bit of trouble. Beishang is here, so a flash might have to be used just now to jump straight in. iBoy has to flash. He's just underneath his turret, and that ends up being a better summoner trade in favor of WE. They do not want the same repeat in game 3.
Yeah, it's really hard to commit into these 2v2s when your AD carry isn't running something like the heal, a cleanse on iBoy, and he was very near to dying right there. Leyan walks on forward, but the reset does come through from Beishang. Now Leyan is just going to help them push out this wave, get the reset for iBoy to safely return back to base. There's a ward placed on the Krugs from Leyan too. I think Beishang dropped that one while he was passing by. So again, it's all about tracking the Diana in this early game to make sure you can't just blow open the solo lanes like he was able to in game 3.
And I love this. You got a little ward there on the Krugs. We do see Shanks getting hit by the Flawless Sweep. It should be fine in his Shroud. But you see the ward on the Krugs. You know the Diana is there. You see immediately Elkin missing. Start to put down the harassment, making sure that Hong and iBoy can't pretend that they have a jungler waiting in the wings. Really do like that small little play there. We do see little sis pings coming down and little things, but they have full vision of where Leyan is going. This is the power of Ashe. When you have got that Hawk Shot, you are just able to keep tabs on everybody for so long. But now maybe that is a TP. That's going to be the Irelia answered by the Camille. Elk does flash. There's the attack repel. Ends up being a nice Flawless Duet to stop anyone from pushing forward, but TP was committed by both top laner and mid laner of WE and RA respectfully.
Yeah, I think Shanks has to run top lane after clearing away this minion wave to pick it up. No. He's not actually. So all these minions are actually just going to be straight up lost to the tower. I'm very surprised not to see him try and run up there, especially because they saw Leyan. I'm almost positive. Maybe my memory's failing me, but I'm pretty sure Leyan was a part of that play in the bot lane when they TP'd
they had a hawk shot on him
to try and spot him out. So it's not like he could get cut off in the jungle or anything like that. That's just 12 minions lost to the void. Like, ideally there, Shanks is running into the top lane, then Breathe off of his reset is running back mid, and they lane swap for a brief moment before eventually returning to some normalcy there. But yeah, just a little bit surprising there, and now an 8 CS deficit for Breathe.
Yeah, it is going to be Shanks keeping a hold of his teleport, not quite willing to fully commit to that. But again, we're seeing now WE going to get themselves an early dragon. Hong will know that this is going on, but I don't think there's a lot you can do about it. Leyan, not really in a position to fight for this, so he's just going to go towards that top side, so he can maybe make a cross-map play. As I say that, though, have to be a little careful. You only have 450 on that smite, as he had yet to get the
it's a dive in top lane. Look at this. Cube is level 6. Breathe doesn't have it yet. That's pretty big deal. But there is an Ignite to work with. And they do maybe think that Shanks is on the roam now that he's left mid lane. Yeah, you can see the immediate missing things coming out from FoFo, so they end up calling that one off, not feeling super confident in it.
Yeah, not feeling confident in it. And we talked a lot about, obviously, the Irelia we saw from Game 3. This is obviously a much more tempered game. As I say that, though, FoFo might be in a little bit of trouble. He gets stunned up, taken over. He might go down. Yes, he does. Heartbreaker is enough. Beishang picks up first blood. That's exactly the kind of start we wanted to have.
Yeah, bringing Missing into the play, too. They needed 3 players. We saw last game, 2v1 against FoFo was not enough to get the job done. So they made sure they had that Rell in the picture as well. They also found themselves the Mountain Drake a little bit before that too. So Beishang finding the early hits over RA to start this one off. And yeah, it was just camping inside the brush. He must have walked over that ward too, so I'm a little bit surprised to see FoFo falling prey to that. Missing didn't even end up really helping out, just sort of, you know, cheered them on as they got the kill underneath the tower there. But it's the support that really matters, and that's exactly what Missing gave them. Now Leyan is in this bottom lane, and there's no flash on Elk.
No flash on Elk, but they do have the Crystal Arrow, as that's going to be perfect to try and stop him out. They will drop the exhaust. There's the Moonfall, but it's a little bit delayed. Finally, Elk goes down. Now the TP comes in from Shanks. It's a 2v3. You can see Leyan trying to maybe see if he can get the kill onto Missing. Shanks just not quite getting consistent damage onto one carry, swapping his 5-point strikes between the 3. That ends up being just a good heads-up play here, but with the jungler down in this bot side, we do see Breathe forcing the Dragon's Rage kick out of Cube, and that's going to be enough of a trade there. Overall, it still ends up being RA getting the kill.
Yeah, and I mean, there's minions lost in the mid lane there as well. Team WE not getting the best of that exchange, you'd say, although Beishang continues to focus on these objectives, and that's exactly what you need to happen when there's a full-out brawl on the bot side of the map. Look for the cross map. You know, if you're the jungler and you're not in the area ready to immediately contribute to that skirmish, make sure you're finding either a Rift Herald on the top side, you're getting your stealing away jungle camps, any kind of advantage you can find. You need to be able to equalize in that fashion. And I mean, I wouldn't expect to see him use that in mid lane right away, even though Missing is helping get the push here. But I mean, with 2 players in mid to help grab the push, they can maybe put a ward down here on the Raptor camp too. It's very important Team WE continue to layer down vision inside the enemy jungle and keep this train rolling.
Yeah, we are going to see the supportal combat between Rell and Rakan. But again, like you said, Rift Herald picked up, and this is a much more tempered start to a game with the Irelia than we saw obviously in Game 3. This feels like WE will have opportunities to keep Shanks relevant, to keep themselves relevant within this game without the Irelia absolutely blowing up. And even the fact that they are able to get that early kill, keeping Shanks with the option to be able to roam is very, very solid here for Team WE. But for RA, they're going to still be thinking about that Game 3 where FoFo with this Diana combination was able to just absolutely wreck people in those team fights. So you got to be a little bit careful if you're WE.
Yeah, and it was after those ultimates came online for Rare Adam that they absolutely started running away with the game. Has been a little bit quiet for them thus far. Just 1-1 on the scoreboard as we approach that 10-minute mark, but gotta be sure they're looking for a play like that. No flashes on the Diana or on the Irelia make things a little bit more challenging, but you can see some really nice setups from them the last time. I mean, even last time Leyan looked for a gank in the bot lane, he got CC'd by Elk, but was able to flash on top of him, which gave Hong the extra range, so he was able to use his E to hop on over to his teammate and get that CC down onto the Ashe. And now with TP in top lane, there's no TPs to respond for Team WE. Cube might want to back away from Breathe for the time being if they want to commit towards this dive, or just sneak Leyan up into this bush. If it's not going to be the dive, maybe on the next wave, Elk and Missing will push forward, but they don't even decide to do that.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's even with the wave crashing into the turret, because it was a cannon minion wave, it does end up pushing it just a little bit too far forward. So you can see it here. It's just going to crash just before that first brush. So no real reason for the WE bot side to really commit to pushing themselves forward. So good work there from Leyan, just to be able to make sure that he doesn't waste too much time on this bot side as Beishang and the rest of WE start to clear away some of these wards. And this is where we start to see why vision is so important. It's a resource, information about what you can and cannot do. If you know exactly where everyone else on the enemy team is, you know what plays you can make and what plays you cannot make. So both teams really valuing the fact that they want to know where everyone is at all times.
Speaking of plays you can make, Cloud Drake has spawned. While it's not the favorite dragon of choice for most players, it is an excuse to fight. And, well, flashes should be... Yeah, that's what we need. Leyan, FoFo's flash is going to be up very, very shortly. TP mismatch in mid lane for FoFo, but I think with it being the Cloud and also with it being a very close game and a game that Adam just do not want to throw in any way, they're playing a little bit more cautiously around that. Both junglers actually on the top side of the map. Cloud Drake is not the prize these teams are looking for.
No, not quite yet, but we do see now Missing and Beishang escorting Shanks towards this bot side of the river, so they are going to be able to put themselves into a position to start up this objective. Leyan did get a reset off, but is a ways away from actually getting on this, and with the AD carry obviously resetting as well from iBoy, I don't really see a world where you can contest this, so WE will put themselves up onto 2 dragons. We'll either have an Ocean or an Infernal Soul popping up on the map in a very few seconds. It's going to be an Ocean Soul, and that's going to be enough for, honestly, both these teams to really start fighting over this this Dragon Soul.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking Infernal Soul with 4 champions, they're just going to be building pure damage. Would have been really insane, but in Ocean, you know, nothing to scoff at either. And Team WE already on the head start there. A lot of players gathering up around this mid lane. The Herald was just about to time out, so Team WE need to escort it all the way to the tower.
Yeah, with the minions
Look at the
there,
arrow.
but Ashe arrow from downtown.
Wow.
Oh, between the sticks. We'll give you a field goal for that one. That was close to being absolutely awesome, but sadly, it does not mean anything. Team WE do lose the Rift Herald, so only really getting the 100 gold from it.
You know, it seemed like a bit of an afterthought. You know, Beishang's been sitting on that for such a long time. And, well, it ends up accomplishing virtually nothing. You know, he could have dropped that in top lane anytime he wanted to, like literally any time besides the time when Rear Adam were bringing 3 players towards the mid lane. That's just good awareness from Rear Adam to actually be there, because I don't think Hong was spotted when he initially dropped it, but all of a sudden we got a couple players looking for Cube.
Yeah, we got Cube in a little bit of trouble. There's the kickback we talked about, but you cannot kick back 2 members. Beishang going to jump on top of him. The flash is available for Cube. He goes over. Heartbreaker is there, though, and now it's an all-out brawl. Hook shot over the wall. Breathe picks himself up a kill with the help of Beishang, and now RA seeing if they can make a response to this bot side, but WE, they're just playing too respectfully.
Yeah, there's got to be a counter-attack, and even if you don't get kills, denying minions, taking some turret plates, that can be an option in its own. Missing steps a little bit too far forward, though. They're going for it.
TP coming in, though. It's going to be Shanks committing to this one here as they jump onto Elk. There's the Moonfall coming down. Elk trying to trade this one back. He will die to Hong's Ignite. But now WE have to find themselves a way out. There's the flawless duet. The perfect execution used to get Shanks out. He arrived and immediately had to leave. It is RA end up trading back 1 for 1 in the exchange. And they are a little bit in the ascendancy right now.
Yeah, very shocking, though, that Elk and Missing continued to posture so aggressively. I get it, they're trying to call in the TP from Shanks, but just look at the map. Beishang and Breathe are absolutely crushing top lane. Yes, you lose minions, but so is Cube. You take the trade there every time. You don't try to flip it between towers there, and especially when you're going to be at a numbers disadvantage. So the turrets do end up getting traded at the very end, but still not as clean as Team WE would have liked it to be. And you're going to lose the blue buff on top of it. Good arrow. But I don't think you can really follow it up. There's just no damage. Like Shanks without ult or Ignite and no other damage dealer in sight, not a good look.
Yeah, no Magnet Storm either, so you can't really keep them locked down. It would be a very hard committal from Missing if you tried to go for it. So I love the idea. I always love cross-map Ashe arrows. It has led to some of the most iconic plays in League of Legends history throughout the years. And you always just got to keep an eye out for it. Whoa, FoFo Goes put down the Vanguard's edge and sees if he can go for it. There is no perfect execution here, but he's under tower. He will get the kill back, but that was so aggressive. Now the rest of WE see that they can catch him, but I think he's just too far gone.
Oh my god! What a beast! He had to have known that like Shanks had used W or something. I have no idea the information he's working off of, other than he had a ward inside of the bot lane there. Let's see this again. Okay, so Shanks probably used W to get energy back or something. Yeah, okay, use it there. Yeah, because the problem is if Akali has W, you can't turret dive, right? Because you just press his W after before your E lands, and then you get the kill. Wow. FoFo.
Do you know what the funny thing is? If Shanks just walks back to turret, that's just FoFo wasting his flash. That is the difference. No, straight up, that is the difference between a play being absolutely 5-head and literally Keck W. That is the difference in it. So, but they're the kind of plays you need to be making if you want to try and come back into the series. You are still down. One more victory for WE means that RA are out. They're down to regionals. They do not get a second chance in the double elimination part of our bracket. So honestly, I'm all here for it.
I'm watching Foco versus the world. You know what? Foker, I'm on board. I'm on board. Absolute god here in the mid lane for Rare Adam. Look, we knew he was going to be the player to watch, and once again, he does it. Not as much spectacle as in game number 3, but he's making it happen here, pulling his team along the way for the ride. And it is Rare Adam with a small gold advantage. The Rift Herald 2 in mid lane, this will break the tower, and that's just 20 seconds before the Ocean Drake spawns. They're in a great position to take this, and Shanks is top lane without a TP.
Yeah, it's a 1,500 gold lead as well, so it's going to balloon up to about 2,000. Now with that dragon taken, you have no way of defending around this Drake, so you got to say that you're just probably going to give it up. You don't have a TP to respond, so this is where WE start to falter a little bit. We didn't really see this from them in game 1 or 2, where they were able to get those dragons stacking, were able to get themselves on the soul point nice and early, put the pressure onto RA, but now they're down 2,000 gold. They're not able to get themselves onto an Ocean Soul point, and they're just running around the map just a little bit to see if they can make some kind of cross-map play, some reaction to what the side of RA have done, but there's just nothing for them to take.
Yeah, for the time being, it's not the easiest one in the world, and the Akali and the Camille are going to ramp up substantially when they start getting items. Still waiting on a first item for the old Akali there. She definitely sidetracked the build with Seeker's Arm Guard, but we'll get there probably off of this reset. I would imagine she's going to be able to go ahead and lock in an item. Actually cancels the reset. Wants to cheat one more wave before going back to base, get that value exactly lining up. But this is a game where you have to remember the scaling elements and the ability of Breathe to eventually match this Irelia in a side lane, keeping even in levels. There was Shanks didn't make it to level 12.
This is a new area
game
for him.
Also, we're like 6 minutes before the game time that ended in game 3, and Shanks has already beaten his level from last game. So it's an improvement, I will say, at the very least.
Much better situation for Shanks as he is on the Akali. We are going to see Breathe. He jumped on there, but a Sonic Wave. He thought about going with the hook shot as missing was in tow, but not really going to be able to get it. And have a quick look at the items now as we are hitting a little bit of a lull. We might not see any of these teams really go for a fight until there's an objective, because this is how the first 2 games went. It was trading back and forth on either side of the map, and then once we hit those Dragon Souls, that's when we saw the 5v5. So RA happy to trade tier 1 bot for tier 1 in top, deny some minions. But look at the items right now. Of course, you got the Gore Drinker, the Rocket Belt here for the Diana. The Blade of the Rune King is so key for FoFo, and I've actually seen it in LPL quite a lot. Maybe won't see it this game, but quite a few of our LPL top laners won't go, or Irelia players won't go for the full build on the Mythic, but we're going to see a Gage on bot's side, but Cube keep himself alive. The TP has to be committed. The Moonfall lands on the 3, and the Hextech Ultimatum is only to keep himself trapped and dead. That's going to be 1 kill. Another kill is coming up. It's Breathe. Oh, nice little move there, but iBoy just delays missing, and now he's going to keep pushing forward. He doesn't know exactly where Shanks is, and he cannot continue his fight. I love the idea there from WE, but the execution wasn't quite there, and RA punished.
Team WE thought it was a cross-map play that Rare Adam could not respond, but immediately FoFo comes in on the TP. Breathe overcommits a little bit there, using the hookshot underneath the tower, and RA punished WE for that one. They've got a wave to work with in the bot lane too. They're going to be looking to take this one down, but as missing arrives, Shanks should be able to clear away the minions, but that gold lead is starting to get a little bit more steep for Team WE to try and overcome.
Yeah, it really, really is. And 3,500 gold now. The mountain, or sorry, we call it the hill for the moment as we have a look at the replay. And this is just them trying to get on top of Cube, trying to punish him. But Lee Sin is so slippery. You can see just how hard it is for anyone to really get on top of him.
Yeah, and also, I mean, you look at the map too, because it's an initial numbers advantage for WE, but Hong is already running back to bot lane. AD carries can't really get involved in this super quickly, but the person who's going to be here first is going to be the Varus, and that forces WE to have to fully run away here. And, well, iBoy shows up, and if there's no iBoy, those two players escape. He's there. He's going to be able to finish off one, and Team WE going to be really frustrated after that failed dive attempt in the bot lane. And this game continuing to start and slip away a little bit from them. RA got the last Ocean Drake, and there's going to be another one in just a minute's time. But itemization-wise, RA are just absolutely crushing. Both items complete, jungle, mid, and AD carry, and same cannot be said for WE, although Breathe continues to do well, farming up a storm in that top lane and working these side lanes.
Yeah, really, really doing well. And realistically, Breathe is going to be the one who has to deal with the Irelia in the later stages. So knows exactly what his plan is and knows exactly what his objective is. We, of course, got the Zhonya's Hourglass for Leyan, so he's going to be able to keep himself alive should he go absolutely ham in these fights. Shank's looking to maybe farm up just enough to get himself a stopwatch before this next fight, and whether or not WE want to fight it, it's dragging in 40 seconds, but it is just Rare Adam on the board ready to go, and I don't see anyone from WE really making a move for this.
It's going to be a hard one, I think, right? Team WE just don't really have the itemization. Like, it's not that far off. They've got two players on two items, but I think you really need your Akali and Viego to be more powerful coming into this one. Ashe isn't necessarily at the point yet where you're expecting her to pump out a whole lot of damage with her fun little build here with the Immortal Shield Bow and the Ginsu's as well. But once you start looking towards things like a Runon's Hurricane or the like, that's when Ashe damage can start to get a little bit more substantial. Hold the phone. Team WE are trying to sneak away the Baron, and because they're only using two players on this, they might actually get away with it.
They should get away with it. Well, no, Cube's going to be walking on top of this. Leyan is taking the dragon while this is happening, but the rest of WE, they have to back away. They couldn't get the best paid actor award. They couldn't make a fake work for it, but they knew they couldn't contest around that dragon anyway, so I admire the attempt.
I love the idea, honestly. Like, that is awesome. That's exactly what you need to be looking for, because this game, not the easiest one from Team WE, and you know, Rare Adam, credit to them for spotting that one, because that's not the easiest one in the world either, right? You know, with three players showing around mid lane, you don't necessarily expect two players to be doing Baron at 22 minutes into the game, but clearly Rare Adam are no strangers to it and ready to spot that one before it ends up happening. And Team WE, I'm
gonna stop you there. We see missing. Yeah, I think that's just the way we call it. It's just sadly for missing, he gets caught out, he gets bursted down, and now Baron could be a call here for the side of Adam.
Soloing it on a control ward.
He has to go for it right now.
What a Chad.
He just knows that he's just so strong right now that he has no reason to fear anybody. They're now trying to clear out that pink ward, but Shanks is flanking off to the top side. The Camille has got TP, so this is a 3v4. It's a little bit dangerous here for Rare Adam. Yes, they have got a numbers advantage, but the triggers should be able to be pulled quicker here by the side of WE. They have to back away from it. A little bit too trigger happy.
Oh my word. I mean, I just can't believe FoFo's just straight up, so he's like, guys, get over here. I'm hitting Baron. We're doing this, you know, whether you like it or not. FoFo taking everything into his own hands right there. But we can continue to see Breeze working in the bottom lane, and well, both sides actually have really strong pick tools, the more you think about it, with utility ADCs to set you up from far away, so much mobility, single target lockdown, and the like. It's really does come down to who's controlling more of the map. You know, vision denial inside river, especially as we look towards the Baron, the fifth dragon of the game, with this Ocean in 3 minutes, because RA are in an advantage state right now because they seem to have mid priority so convincingly. Well, that allows them to control the vision around mid, control vision inside of the river, and that'll lead to more plays like Missing stepping into the fog of war and getting absolutely blasted there.
Yeah, see there, this is what I was talking about earlier though. FoFo is the only one who can really deal with this Camille, but Missing is going to be able to maybe check this. Now he puts down a ward. They know they're back onto it here. There's the hawk shot just in tow as well. So Rare Adam, they're looking to fully commit to this one now. And this time, WE a little bit too slow on the play. There is the quickness. There's going to be an ult coming in as well. The enchanted crystalline arrow. Beishang has to heartbreaker over the end, but the 2 TP is going to be coming in. At 3v1 as Breathe immediately hook shots out. FoFo still on the Baron, still keeping it aggro, but they're taking a lot of poke damage. RA looking to force, but WE have their number on this Baron pit.
Yeah, RA were really trying to find a fight, but that being said, they didn't want to overcommit to that there, so they jumped over the wall, tried to get the pick. When that didn't work, made the call, let's back away from the pit. FoFo still tried to solo the Baron for a little bit, but he ended up having the right idea to walk away from that one. But this is exactly what Team WE need, right? It's about stalling out these objectives. We're at a point where it's really hard to push the game forward. You know, outer towers are down for, there's the mid lane outer for RA, but they've taken all the enemy's outer towers. There's no dragon on the map. That's the easy objective to go for, and the Baron's really your only option, but because you're playing blue side, it's very easy for Team WE to get vision over the wall, to always be threatening away a steal. So RA have to be able to take their foot off the gas a little bit, be a little bit more patient, only commit when you know it's going to be a winning fight, and that's going to be where they look for this ocean in a minute and a half.
Despite a 4,000 gold lead, it is still very tense in this game. Of course, a couple of hawk shots available to Team WE as they look to maybe just scout out exactly where everything is. Missing. Walks over a ward, but I think he's been burnt by this before, so he's just going to walk himself away. The only thing that was burnt in that last exchange, apart from the TPs, was iBoy's cleanse, so not exactly a high-level summoner to be coming back. You can already see it's over halfway back off its cooldown, so we're just stacking items right now,
yeah.
Ender. We have a quick, you see stopwatches being picked up, we see Zonya's being finished up. This is just hitting critical mass where a gold lead probably won't make a difference. It'll all be about execution.
Honestly, I was looking at iBoy's cleanse, I'm like, it is ticking up so fast. What is going on? He went lucidity boots. Like, my man wants his flash and cleanse ready all the time, and I love that, you know? When you're playing this lethality build too, like, you're less reliant on your auto attacks. You don't really care as much, perhaps, about going for something like the Berserker Greaves. So the cooldown reduction you're going to get for just your Q and your E in general is going to be strong, and also for your summoner spells is definitely a worthwhile investment for him. 3 items now achieved for both iBoy and FoFo, and the Ocean Drake is spawning up. Beishang not on the right side of the map. Could just be looking to play for top side camps, play for the top lane tower too, because Elk is not fast enough to get back on the map. Yeah, WE are just giving this one completely.
Yeah, honestly, I think this is the correct decision from WE. They had to reset. They know they're an item down on Eddie Carry and in mid lane. They are still half an item away from basically Akali and Ashe both getting themselves a 3rd item.
Oh, they're doing it again.
There's a ward, though. They know exactly what's going on. This is going to be WE coming on top of this, but they know exactly that they've been caught out. They haven't swept over the wards. This is where I talk about dotting your I's and crossing your T's. You have to do your due diligence. You have to make sure that you are the ones not getting caught out if you want those plays to stick. Otherwise, you're kind of just wasting a little bit of time.
Or if you want to write legible sentences too. Very important. And well,
that
WE
does work too.
forced out of their jungle once again. Yeah, you know, you don't really need to write if you can play League of Legends pretty decently. And Team WE are continuing to just be pushed back here. They don't have vision inside the river. This is what I was talking about earlier, is if Rare Adam control vision, eventually Team WE, they're going to run out of blue trinkets. They do have Hawkshot. That's really useful, again, for scouting out the river, scouting out the Baron Pit, and you just need to push this vision deeper and deeper into the enemy jungle. It's becoming a little bit more stressful now for Team WE, and Breathe, what are you doing?
He's a bit too far forward. He tries to hook shot away, but he's been kicked. He's been charmed. He's just going to try and maybe get out of this as best he can. He goes in with the Hextech ultimatum, even goes golden, but the rest of your team's not trying to get on top of this. He actually might be able to get out. No! FoFo jumping in like Superman. Gets himself right on top and gets the kill. So that is going to be the top laner dead. Breathe will respawn with TP. And TP had to be used by FoFo to make sure that mid lane tier 1 did not go down. But again, it is RA making the plays.
It's time for the Baron. RA goes straight over to that. We're still a long time away from Breathe getting onto the map. Shanks might just have to TP in here, or they just go for the 50-50 steal. FoFo on the flank as well. Watch for him.
Elk is being very cautious right now. They know this Baron's got to be down pretty damn low. There's going to be the ultimate coming out to try and stop the engage. We can see the Chain of Corruption coming in. We're going to stop down. Beishang cannot get into the pit and uses his Heartbreaker along with Elk's heal to get himself back out. Baron to RA, 5,000 gold, and in 3 minutes they got themselves a date with Soul.
Just a major blunder there from Breathe. His team is inside the jungle. They see them walking in there. RA force Team WE out of the topside jungle, but Breathe wanted to stay for the wave, and 4 players collapse on him. He falls. All of a sudden, the Baron goes to RA. They're going to have pressure, and again, it is Ocean Soul in just under 3 minutes as well. Rare Adam have the pin set. Right now, they just need to knock them down, close out this game, and force us into a game 5, and the Ocean Soul, after this Baron runs out, is exactly what's on the cards.
Yeah, and honestly, this is just getting so much more difficult for Team WE. Their lack of vision is just really, really crippling them, and it's just not really doing much for them in terms of like getting any kind of advantage. They're trying to go for these cheeky plays, but they're not quite sweeping out the vision, and they're just straight up behind. You finally do have the third items for their 80 carries and their mid laners, but like we said earlier, they are about a half item down, so going to be very difficult to take these fights. And this is where FoFo just becomes a monster. The Irelia was a monster in Game 3 for different reasons, but an Irelia this late in the game is just so difficult to deal with. Even if you catch on top of her, I don't even know you can kill her.
And how do you get him off these towers? The only ranged wave clear you have is the Ashe. She can't do anything. They might just be marching further and further into the base. Breathe has to reset. He might have to TP. They've got supers inside the base.
Not got supers just yet, but they got a Baron buff. We are going to see the knock up there onto Beishang as he has to use the Heartbreaker out. We are going to see the engage come in. The jungler is dead, but look at Elk. He's trying to just put down the damage. We can see Shanks going back in on the perfect execution. There's going to be Han going down. Elk is getting the damage down. The Hextech ultimatum buys so much time. Cube seeing if he can get away, but FoFo picks up the kill. It's a 3 for 3. 2v2 in the lane now. Baron buff is still available. Do Cube and FoFo feel like they do a flawless duet? FoFo goes in. FoFo goes hard, and FoFo will fall. Now it's down to Shanks versus Cube. Cube has to back away, but Shanks is feeling like he might go for a little bit more. It's an all-out brawl in WE's base, but it's a 4 for 4, and WE survive.
That may have been a winning fight for Team WE. A huge shutdown onto FoFo there. I think Shanks was the one to pick it up. That's absolutely massive in trying to equalize this game inside the base. Leyan just completely whiffed his ultimate. That was terrible. And then, I mean, it still looked okay, right? But this re-engage, Beishang does burn out on the backside of the fight. The Magnet Storm catches 4 members, and all the while Elk is just battering down on any target he can find. That's 2 kills to start it off, but still Cube and FoFo rather are nearly unkillable. And I mean, FoFo does virtually everything here. The flawless duet connects onto Elk right there. Absolutely gorgeous. But the kiting back, Elk gets enough damage down that with the combination of Shanks, the stopwatch to buy some time, it's enough. Now, Ocean Soul, it's back on the map. We're about to throw down once again. Team WE have to stop them from getting this.
But look at the TPs. You've got double TP for Cube and FoFo. They could just barrel up the mid lane and end this game, or even barrel down the bot lane. You can see them now. Dragon has been started. This is it for Team WE. You have to make a decisive call. They're going to try and go in on top of it. They're trying to burn it down. Flash forward into the moonfall. Right on top of everybody. And FoFo cleans up absolutely everything. It's 3 kills in their favor. 4 kills for RA. And Jamie, our audio guy, gets silver scrapes going, because we're going to a game 5.
GG! Team WE had a sliver of hope, and FoFo, Leyan, they said no. It is over. A full 5 games after Team WE started off with a quick 2-0. Rare Adam fired back, and 2 games in a row, they take it themselves. It's nearly identical composition and a very similar performance. FoFo and Leyan carrying in the team fights.
What a way to come back into this game. This Irelia pick for FoFo has been insanely pivotal towards this series. Honestly, right now, if you're Team WE, you have to ban it. You got to get it off the board. You can't have it coming back into this series because it's just doing so much, and FoFo feels so confident on it.
Why are we leaving them all open? They just got the same camp. comp, they run it back, they banned the support. Yeah, Rakan was the problem, you know? The support was the problem in game 3. I don't think so. I don't think so personally. I want to see some changes there for sure. And Team WE now lost all the momentum. The early game, again, was good from them. They had a solid early game. Beishang was able to have some influence, get the early dragons, find some kills as well, but they had no answer when it came to the map play a little bit later on. They continued to get caught out in side lanes, and I really do feel like it was just the one mistake from Breathe, overextending in top lane, that turned into the Baron, and the game completely fell away from there.
Honestly, it just felt like Beishang was invisible in this particular series, or this particular game in this series. He got the 2 early Drakes and then wasn't really able to do anything with them. He wasn't able to make any priority, couldn't really get the ganks going for his team, and it just became about Leyan and FoFo. It became about this combination duo comboing up, and right at the end there, yes, Leyan missed his ultimate at the Nexus fight right before the Dragon fight, but his flash into Moonfall,
gorgeous,
deleting the backline of Elkin missing. Nothing you can do. They literally had no other choice. They just had to accept their fate, and at that point, FoFo was able to clean up house.
Wow. Now, Penguin, I have a question for you because you know, I'm a little bit new here in the LPL. Did one cast before, but it wasn't a best of 5, so didn't have a chance for silver scrapes.
Okay.
I know in EU we call it silver scrapes. Does that mean in LPL we call it like diamond scrapes, master scrape? Like how does that work exactly?
Honestly, this explains a lot as to why Kevin Bell, the producer of LEC, wants to replace Silver Scrapes, because I feel like he's maybe a little bit of a meme for him, and, you know, we shall not let it die in our side, of course. For LPL, we keep going with the Silver Scrapes. We are going to a Game 5, and honestly, I don't think there's anything else really to add. We could just kind of throw it off. Jamie, our audio guy, the chat is waiting. I am waiting. You know what to do. You can bring it to the Silver Scrapes. We'll see you guys for Game 5.